On Inauguration Day, I was actually at work at the Guidance Center and spent a good share of my morning trying to find a way to get the broadcast to play in a community room where there were many adults with psychiatric disabilities anxiously waiting to see, and also all the staff that work with them very anxious to see as well. And then I went ahead and tried to download it off the web like so many other people and was definitely stymied by that. So I didn't actually get to see the moment of inauguration because of the things that I was doing, and wound up seeing it instead on TiVo later at night in the comfort of my home. And even knowing that it had already happened, there was such a powerful moment for me watching the procession of people come through, looking at the mall jam-packed with people, and the enthusiasm for the moment was just palpable. And the moving quality of seeing this change of state in such an historical moment really struck me deeply. It did. And since then, what I've really appreciated too are some of the stories of people. Just the other day on National Public Radio, there was an interview with the new social director. I forget exactly what her title is. It's not like Party Girl, but it's something, you know, it's something really important. And she's like a Harvard MBA. Anyway, but talking about how she is engaged in looking at how to utilize the White House to really generate a whole sense of a broader community, right? That the White House can be a place where there's gatherings or state dinners, but also where people get to feel included more than people have in the past. You know, maybe there'll be lotteries of citizens be able to come into state dinners, who knows what, all kinds of things from the way. But when the interviewer started talking to her about the staff that has been in the White House, it was remarkable, because so many of the staff are African American. And for them, this has been these are folks who are very prominent in their neighborhoods. It's a very respected thing, and yet they're kind of doing the job of, you know, the butlers and porters and things along those lines. These are the housekeeping staff in many respects. And when she talked about what it was like for them to have Barack Obama in office, her voice started to crack. And she clearly was aware of the historical moment of how this is a time when we get the chance to really put a nail in the coffin of racism in this country. An important day. Now, I'm kind of interested in how we got here, but I'm even more interested in what happens next. Because we're kind of on a fulcrum in many ways, right? I mean, we have certainly an economy that's struggling on a good day. We have a lot of things ahead of us in terms of huge challenges. And yet we also have this very happy occasion of finally putting aside prejudice in at least this one small, really big way, so that we can move forward. Now, I have to admit, in the primaries, I did not vote for Barack Obama, thinking that this is a person who just didn't have enough experience to my way of thinking. I didn't vote for him. But that didn't mean that I didn't find him interesting. But what really made a difference to me was hearing segments of his book, Audacity of Hope, read aloud at a National Leaders Council meeting. And what struck me in hearing his words was the humanness of his point of view and the accessible quality to him. There was something just really likable about the things that he was saying and the way they are being put. And that really got me interested. You know? Now, I have to say, when the election results came in, I had a great sigh of relief. I have not been a happy man for 8 years. Quite frankly, I haven't been a happy man for probably several decades, because I wasn't that thrilled with previous administrations either, but that's a whole other matter. I was very relieved, and I already had this sense of great anticipation. But I wasn't exactly sure why? What were the things that this anticipation came from? I mean, certainly you look at Barack Obama, and you see a person who's got a friendly face, and it's a nice, soft, and lovely voice to listen to. What a great relief. Eloquence, great relief again. But that is not so unusual for politicians, is it? I mean, we generally elect people that are rather nice to look at, that are rather nice to listen to, right? Because if we didn't want to listen to them, chances are we would be less inclined to vote for them. So, you know, I think our past president is kind of an odd duck in that regard, as someone that so many people really did not like to listen to. But what is appealing to him, to my mind, goes much deeper than that. Now, some of it is just familiarity. I mean, isn't this a guy that you can imagine actually living next door to you? Isn't this a guy that you can imagine sitting next to in a PTA meeting? You know, or maybe going out to dinner? I mean, it seems like he likes the same restaurants I like. I can imagine this, right? And when you see him talking to people, he just seems to have this inner comfort with himself and a comfort in just talking to people. And it's so different and refreshing. You know, I remember watching Bill Clinton at work. And I always had the feeling with him that he was working it, right? That he had an agenda that he was rolling with. And his idea was that he's going to be saying this stuff, but he's kind of selling the idea, and he's selling himself. And when I watch Obama in interviews, it doesn't feel like that. I get this sense that he's really genuinely interested in what somebody else is thinking about and what they might have to say. That he seems really ready to ponder what is life like for other people, not just for himself. And that particular kind of assurance and ability to stay with people and listen to them, I think, is a very special trait. And intriguingly, I'm coming to believe that it's come from a place that's familiar to us. How many people are aware that Obama's mother is an agnostic, was an agnostic? Or that his grandparents were Unitarian Universalists? And that's where Obama went to Sunday school for part of his time. There is within his life really an exposure to humanism that is so much similar to the kind of things I imagine a lot of us are doing at home with their own children. Right? Rather than spending their time really inculcating particular beliefs, they were spending their time helping him and his sibs and step-sibs get an opportunity to sample a variety of things, to get exposed to a number of things, to really have a chance to, over time, sort things out and come to their own conclusions about what they cared about, what they believed in, and how they were going to live their lives. So much of what we, I think, when we are looking to work with our kids, don't we want them to really develop themselves as human beings, meaning people that can use their mind to figure out how they want to play their hand. People who can come to terms with what are the important things of life and how can they live their lives in a way that honors that importance. My sense is those roots were really important to him becoming the kind of person that he is. And I'm hoping that they become important aspects to how he and his administration carry out the agenda that is ahead of us.